Welcome to DSC's Campfires with Larry Weissoon, a unique blend of hunting, fishing, wildlife conservation, and the outdoor lifestyle. DSC's Campfires is brought to you by DSC, Conservation, Education, and Advocacy. Hornady, accurate, deadly, dependable. Taurus, award-winning revolvers and pistols. Stealth Vision, high-tech, precision-driven equipment for today's modern hunter. Red 55 Winery, signature wines from Emmy Award-winning country artist Miranda Lambert, owned by Rick and Beverly Lambert. And the Choctaw Hunting Lodge, home of some of the finest hunting in North America. Now, here's Larry.
Mr. Johnny Hudman, dear friend of many years and many adventures, welcome to the campfire.
Thank you very much. Glad to be here.
Well, I'm glad to have you here, too. You know, the last time we got together on this podcast, we were hunting deer on the Buffalo 4 Ranch over kind of between Abilene and San Angelo, but had not had a chance to get together since then. We'd planned a couple of different fishing trips. Unfortunately, our fishing guide got ill and couldn't do that. But I heard through the grapevine that you have just returned from an absolutely fantastic fishing trip down in South America or Central America somewhere.
That's true. Down in South America, we went down to Uruguay and fished for the Golden Dorado. And that's only the second time I've been able to fish for them. I went last year and went on a cast and blast thing to shoot some dove and to catch some Golden Dorado. And we caught tons of fish, but where we were, the fish didn't get big. And you know how I am.
I do.
I want bragging rights. So we found out they had another place that was up right on the Argentina Uruguay border that harbors all the big fish. There's a big electric dam up there, and the fish are gathered right there at that dam, and they get huge. They get huge there.
Well, for somebody that doesn't know, you know, when I think of Dorado, normally I think of the dolphin in the saltwater kind of thing. So for somebody that doesn't know what a Golden Dorado is, how would you describe them?
They look like a 50-pound golden shiner minnow, sort of. No, they're an absolutely beautiful fish. They're bright gold, and they've got brilliant colors, and they're just a beautiful fish. They're an absolutely beautiful fish. And where we were down there, that dam, I'm sure grinds up a few bait fish coming through, and just, you know, you got that real swift water there, and that's the only place that I know of in the world that you can fish and catch those fish. I was expecting to catch a fish. I was hoping to catch a
Hello? Johnny, I lost you.
fish that weighed in the 30s or 40s, except one person, and he got a 25 and plenty of 20s. So, you know, it was quite a trip.
I lost you there through the miracles of I think we've got a bunch of weather between us this morning. And is that the only place, not on the river where you were, the dam, but is that part of South America the only place that you find the Golden Dorado?
As far as I know, it is. Those rivers down there are full of them. And I've never heard of them anywhere else except down in that area. We flew into Buenos Aires and drove 5 hours north, and wound up in Salto, Uruguay, right on the border. And as far as I know, that's the only place that you can fish for them. I know it's the only place you can fish for those giants.
Absolutely. I lost you for just momentarily. There's a bunch of weather. We're on the phone here together, and there's a bunch of weather between us. You're talking about you were hoping to catch a fish of some size, and then I got into the tail end of that where you talked about that everybody but one person caught something over 30 pounds. How big do they get down there, or what's kind of the reasonable expectation when you go down and fish that specific area?
Well, I was hoping for a fish that weighed 20 pounds,
Oh,
and
okay.
I knew that the world record is close to 50 pounds, but I didn't have any kind of expectations of the fishing being as good as it was. We all caught fish. All 8 of us went, and everybody caught fish at least in the 30-pound, 40-pound range, except one angler, and he caught a 25-pounder. And we caught a lot of fish in the 20s. It was a fantastic trip.
Now, how do you fish for them? Do you use live bait? Or are you using artificial? Are you trolling? Or are you just dropping them, like you would a lead hit or something like that?
All of the above, really. We didn't
Oh,
use
all
any
the
live
above.
bait. Yeah, we didn't use any live bait at all. As a matter of fact, I probably would not have thrown the jigs that we were throwing just because they were too ugly. Those guys, they build those jigs. I mean, I took pictures of them because it was, honestly, the guides would take an 8-ounce sinker.
Right.
I mean, that's a big sinker.
Yes.
And like a 10 or 12-aught hook, and they'd take a steel leader and double it, and then they'd put a hair off an old cheap wig that they keep in the boat there. They cut hair off of it, and they tape it on there with green electric tape. And I said, man, I've seen it all now. But we caught tons of fish on those jigs just going up toward that dam in that really swift water where it's coming out and throw it in there. We also caught some on top waters, on big old, like almost wood chopper type top waters.
Right.
And the thing about these fish, they jump. And that's the coolest thing, to see one of those big old 30-pound fish come up out of the water and jump. And then I'll tell you that the fight's on. And you only fish for about 2.5 hours at a time. And I figured out why. Because after about 2.5 hours, you don't want any more.
You've had enough of it for a while where you get back, maybe come back a little bit later, right?
Exactly. Yeah. It was great fun, great time.
Those are, you think of, you're talking about a half a pound of lead, essentially, when you get right down to it. It's got 8 ounces.
Exactly.
And that is a huge amount. I guess part of that is so that you can get, you said the water was swift, so I guess that's one of the things to try to get it in deeper into the water, possibly. Or
and
something they eat that bigger type of fish, kind of thing.
I honestly don't know. I think it's so you can throw it up there and get really close to the dam, and I think that's why that wave is so big, and the current too. The current, it's crazy.
Well, what kind of rods and reels were you using? I mean, that would be
Shimano Corrados and just I'd say a medium weight rod. It wasn't anything. The equipment wasn't anything special. They have spin casters or bait casters. We chose to use bait casters, and I got spooled more than once.
Yeah. I think it'd been me. I'd have been there. I'd have had to carry a pair of nippers with me to continue to be cutting line if it was a bait cast with that kind of weight, because I'm sure that took a little bit of time trying to figure out how to cast that kind of thing as well, too.
Well, we never did figure it out as good as the guides could do. Once in a while, the guides would look at us with that look that only a guide can give you, when you're inexperienced, and he'd grab it and throw it and put it right in, exactly where he wanted it. But yeah, it took some time to get used to throwing something that heavy.
I would think so. Now, once you caught them, how long? You say they jumped quite a bit. Did it take? Obviously, they fight, because that's the one thing that I've heard about is those fish are very, very serious fighters. And did it take a long time to bring them in?
Sometimes it did. It'd take at least 10 minutes to get a good fish in, but probably 10 to 20 minutes, and you're fighting them. And that's one of the things that I had to scratch my head about at first, is the guides don't get in any hurry. They want that fish to be completely
worn out.
fall down so that they can handle them easier with the boga grips, you know. And so that sort of, I'm used to being excited and wanting him in the boat as fast as I can get him in the boat, you know. And
Right.
you really can't do that to some of those fish. I had a hook straightened on a big, like a 7-inch long lure. I had a hook straightened. I had my line broken about 3 times. You know, it was just, I mean, it was crazy. I don't know what kind of equipment you'd need to just winch one in, because they are very, very strong fish.
Well, obviously, because I'm sure part of that is because they're in that swift water, you know, that they have to be really strong. But then, too, probably
Yes,
there would be times when you were fighting the water as well, too.
that's exactly right. Yeah, you've got that really swift water, and then you've got that powerful of fish. And a lot of times you'll have, I mean, when they jump out of the water the first time, they look like they're half a mile away. You know, they're way
Oh,
out
really?
there. And yeah, I mean, it's not that far, but you know, when they jump, you think, oh my, I got some work to do here. You know,
Well, it sounds like it is quite a bit of work too. It's kind of a lot of fun. And you said, pardon me, good gosh, it's been raining here in where I live, and this morning
same here. Yeah,
brought it. I hope it's doing the same up in your part of the country too, because so much of Texas right now is really kind of dry, and we could darn sure use the rain. But
for sure.
now you said you fished from one time before, and there when you were fishing in smaller rivers and that kind of thing as well too, Johnny.
Yeah, we went last year, and a couple of friends of mine and I went down there, and we went and stayed at one lodge the whole time, and that was in Argentina, down by Guayaquil, Argentina. Flew into Buenos Aires, had a 3-hour drive, and stayed at this old estancia that was a beautiful horse ranch that was established in 1912. And there's giant eucalyptus trees lining the driveway coming in. I mean, it's quite a place, and they've got a magnificent chef down there that'll keep you wanting to take a nap, you know. And so we understood that we were going to be fishing for numbers and not size.
Right.
So we did both. We fished in the mornings, and then we'd shoot dove in the afternoon. But we caught, I believe Joe was telling me that we put like 75 fish in the boat the first morning. And
that was
of those,
and golly. And how big were they?
they were anywhere from 1.5 pounds to 5 or 6 pounds. You know, just good fighters, but it was nothing. It was fishing shallow water, swift water, basically just like you'd fish for bass.
Right.
You know,
right.
up in the reeds and all these rivers. The Paranal River is huge there, and all these tributaries coming off of it just get, you know, as they get smaller and smaller, you get back up in
Right.
those, in the tall grass and everything, and just catch them. And about every 15th or 20th fish would be a piranha, be a really nice big piranha. So that was kind of fun too.
Well, that kind of adds to the adventure as well too, kind of thing.
Well,
Now,
yeah, for sure.
when you're fishing there, and I want to come back to the bigger fish in just a little bit, but did y'all have a chance to eat any of those fish? Because I know you like to eat like I do.
I do love fish. They told me that golden dorado is not a good eating fish. That's what they told us both places. So I don't know. We never ate any dorado. We did, however, have piranha. We had fried piranha appetizers. The piranha is excellent. It is. I mean, it's as good as a crappie to me, and that's
Really?
saying something. Yeah.
Yeah, that is saying something. I'll be darned. I had no earthly idea that they would be that way. Now, to me, always, I know you like different things as well too, and going different places and all those kind of things. Why did you first start going to South America as opposed to saying going up north and fishing for lake trout or pike or muskies or something like that? What was the fascination about South America?
Well, it started off with peacock bass, and when my son Johnny Jr. got out of college, he was looking for something, and Jim Kern was running a outfit down in South America, and so he hired my son to go down and run that lodge down on the Rio Negro River for a while. And the last fishing week of the season, Debbie and I went down there and fished and just fell in love with all parts of the Amazon and South America and everything. And that's what got it started. And I've been down several times since then for peacock bass.
Right.
And that just, then I was hearing about these golden dorado, but I didn't know much about them. And so I wanted to go catch some. So that's how that got started.
Now, you mentioned that one that you hooked, had a straightened hook and then broke off several, 2 or 3 different times. Obviously, going back to those big fish, they had to have been somewhat bigger than the bigger ones that y'all caught to do that kind of thing, I would think.
Well, and we saw some of them. I mean, usually you don't have one on the line very long before they come out of the water. So you sort of know what you got pretty
Right.
fast. Not only from the way they hit and fight, but you actually get to see the fish. And then we had some fish right up. Well, the one that straightened that hook on me I saw that fish right up by the boat.
Really?
And it was probably my fault because I probably pulled on him a little hard there, and he wasn't ready for that yet. And I mean, it was probably my fault that the hook got straightened. No, but
how big do you think it was? Was it bigger? Bigger than the bigger you caught?
High 30s, low 40s. Our big fish of the trip was 44 pounds, but we caught 4 over 40.
That's phenomenal.
So
I mean, my goodness,
yeah,
I can only imagine. Golly, well,
yeah.
the photograph that you sent me, there, as you mentioned to start with, they're obviously absolutely beautiful and with that golden color. And oh my God! And from what I've read a little bit about them in the past, and I've talked to you a little bit about it as well prior to this, and my gosh, they must put up a heck of a fight. But the fact that they jump makes it all that much more interesting as well too.
Well, it does. It does. And anytime you can see the fish, you get more excited. And
Yes.
yeah,
Golly.
it was a very exciting trip. I'll tell you, I think you could talk to any of us that went on that trip, and we'd all say the same thing. It was just a great trip. It's just a great trip.
Next question: are you going to go back?
I'm going to go back. Yeah. I definitely. I think all of us will go back, and because it was just too much fun.
Since you mentioned that, it's a relatively easy flight, I would assume, going south. It's been a long time since I've been down in South America, and I was there to red stag in buffalo, and then also shot doves. But it's been a long time ago, and that was down in Patagonia. But as I recall, getting into Buenos Aires wasn't all that much of a trip when you got right down to it. Who did you go with, or how if somebody's listening to this, or if you're going to tell somebody that hey, if you want to go fish for big golden dorado, this is how you go about it. Who would you get in touch with?
Well, they can get hold of me if they want to, or they can call Jim Kern with and let me see, Patrick is one of the owners, and the company is called River Plate Outfitters, and it's just like it sounds, River Plate. And
okay,
you can call and talk to Patrick, and he can set you up with the trip, either dove shooting or a cast and blast. And they have other things too. You can hunt perdees, and you can there's other things you can do. But my experience has always been with them. It's been peacock bass, golden dorado, and dove shooting.
Right, and you did mention, and Jim Kern is involved there.
Well, he can help you set you up. He's not really in the business anymore.
Right.
He retired, but if you know Jim, he doesn't retire. He just he still points you in the right direction. Yeah,
I figured it had to be that way. Well, good deal. We'll try to get that information up on the rest of it as well too, in the show notes and that kind of thing. But big fish. While you're there, you shot doves. And I get tickled because a lot of times people say they're going to go down to South America and hunt doves. And having been down there, and it's not a hunt, it is a shoot. Tell me about a little bit about the dove shooting that you did and the kind of birds that you were shooting.
Well, this, like you said, this is not what I call hunting either. This is definitely a dove shoot, because you go out to usually a cut field. We hunted over this year mostly cut cornfields, and they put you out. You have several flats of shotgun shells and your 20 gauge, because you don't want to shoot anything bigger than a 20, believe me. And 28 is even better. But it's actually nonstop from the time you sit down until the time that you get up and get back in the van to go back to the lodge. You can shoot. I didn't shoot as many shells as I've shot before, but I'm not as mad at them as I used to be.
I was going to say, you got a little smarter, didn't you?
I think I got a little smarter, and my shoulder reminded me that, I'd shoot about 10 boxes, 10, 12 boxes at a shoot this time,
right.
where I usually, sometimes I used to shoot 3 or 4 flats of shells on a shoot. But like I say, I don't shoot that much anymore, but you can shoot all you want to shoot. I'll put it that way. And it's a good place to go and work on one particular shot. If you're having trouble hitting them right to left or left to right or whatever, you just choose that shot, and so you get better at it, So
that's one of the things that I enjoyed. You just mentioned it right there, in that, if you missed a couple of shots of a bird flying a certain way, you just concentrated on that shot until you just mastered it, and then you could move on to another one. And I got tickled years ago. I did like you. I'd shoot about 150, 200 rounds, and that was plenty. I was using a little Brune Tory 20 gauge that they had down there, and had a friend of mine there with us who decided he wanted to shoot 1,000 birds a day while he was there. And he did, but he also forgot that means pulling the trigger on a minimum of 1,000 rounds. And if he hit every one of them, and by the time the trip was over with, I think he's ready to put his arm in the sling and question what he had done and why. Kind of.
No doubt about that. Yeah, you learn quite a bit. My first trip down there, I used a 5-shot Benelli, 2 of them.
Yes.
And he'd have one loaded by the time you finished shooting the 5 rounds. It was just constant. And
just hand it to you.
I paid dearly for that one. I paid dearly for that one.
Well, we all have to learn a lesson sometimes. Sometimes the best way to learn them is the hard way, like that.
Exactly.
You're just off of this adventure. You're getting ready to go on another one, and I want you to mention it, and then I'll follow up with you once you get back from this adventure, because I really want to hear about some of the stories that you will be able to tell once you return. So, where are you headed off to next?
Well, Monday I'm going to Africa. We're going to South Africa, and we're going to hunt a little bit of dangerous game. My buddy Matt Skipper and I are going over there and hunt with Lex Strauss. And Lex has been over to the ranch over here a couple of times. Super good guy. And Matt hunts with him a lot. And so we're going over there and we're going to hang out for a couple of weeks and do a little fishing and, just kind of play. One of the things I'm really excited about is I want to try to call in some predators. I want to use Gary Robertson's new freak call and go over there and see if we can, get something to come in. And I think those jackals will come, and maybe one of the cats, but I think that's going to be fun.
I got a feeling you'll call in if you're going to be. It depends on where you are in South Africa, but I got a feeling that you'll call in a jackal. You'll probably call in a few other things as well too, and if there are any little caracals, the kind of non-spotted bobcats like we have here. I've hunted them there. Tried to call them once or twice. Same thing with leopard. We did not do any good with the leopard, but we've called in jackals in the past, and that was before Gary came out with the free call, and I was just using his little straight mouth blown call that we did, and had great success with it. And so I know how good you are at calling, and how much you enjoy all that stuff too. So I can't wait to hear about that and hear about your buffalo adventures too. I think I sent you a text saying the worst thing about shooting a buffalo on a buffalo hunt is then you have to quit hunting buffalo for that trip. So
exactly.
I want to see if you'll feel the same way once you get back.
Well, I'm excited about the trip, and you know, I'll be. You'll have to twist my arm, but I will tell you some stories when I get back.
Well, we'll have to see if we can't get around a real campfire and turn the recorder on and reminisce a little bit about some of the old days with J. Wayne Fears and some of the adventures that we had in years past. So look forward to doing that. Well, Johnny, thank you so much for joining us around the campfire. And people want to learn more about the Golden Dorado, we'll have the places to call there on the show notes for everybody. And I know that was a great trip, and wish you the very best on your hunting going to Africa, the trip there and back, and hope you come back with all kinds of stories and photographs and Lord knows what all. So thank you so much for joining us. Tell your lovely wife I said hello, and look forward to catching up with you a little bit later when you get back.
All right, sounds good, Larry. I enjoyed it. Thank you very much.
DSC's Campfires with Larry Weishuhn has also been brought to you by The Crown Bar in LaGrange, Texas, the Texas Wildlife Association, Double Nickel Taxidermy, and Burnham Brothers Game Calls.